This video covers the difference between a controlled experiment and an observational study through a simple example. So a controlled experiment is when researchers randomly assign a treatment to experimental units and proceed to study the response of the treatment on the experimental units. So if we think about this in terms of a simple example, let's say a coach is interested in studying the effects of exercise on athletes. Then the athletes are actually the experimental units, and the treatment is going to be the exercise. And so for the coach to proceed with an experiment, he first needs to randomly assign each of the athletes to a group. And then for the treatment, he's going to assign a treatment to each of the groups. So let's say group 1 is given an exercise regime, and then he assigns a different exercise regime to group 2. And then for the third group, he's actually going to have them not exercise, and this is typically done in experimentation and known as a control group. If you think about it in terms of medicine, this is also where they administer a placebo effect. And so it's just a way to assess the progress of the treatment. So once the treatments are set, the final step is for the coach to just study the response variable, which in this case is the athlete performance from the beginning to the end of the trial. And the other option for the coach is to conduct an observational study. So an observational study is a procedure in which we cannot or do not control which experimental units are assigned to the groups. So if you want to think about this in terms of the coach studying the students, this time if you have the same coach and the same group of students, he's actually going to study them from afar. So in the same way, he's also going to study the athlete performance as the response variable, but this time he's going to just observe their daily life and just see how they regularly exercise without controlling the different regimes that he assigns to the groups. So this is the difference between a controlled experiment and an observational study. Just think of one as being up close and personal while the other one is studying from afar.